If you have a hard time getting your drums to sound good in your beats, or you waste a lot of time looking for the right kick or the right snare, today I'm going to show you what's probably causing your drum problems and how to fix them. So let's take this sound by sound and look at the common problems that happen with each. First, let's focus on snares and claps. When you add snares or claps to your beat, you might feel like something doesn't sound good. There's something wrong with the sounds, but you have a hard time figuring out what the actual problem is. I know a lot of other tutorials talk about how compression will solve all your problems, but in my experience, I've found other solutions are often more helpful. After reviewing lots and lots of beats in my time, I've found that there are commonly two major issues that cause most snare and clap problems. Number one is a weak body. Let me quickly play a beat for you to show you what I mean. The snare in this beat sounds pretty strong and present. Now I'm going to play the exact same beat, but without the fix that I made. There's a pretty big difference here. The snare just sounds weak. If I saw this snare walking down the hallway, I'd probably shove him into a locker because it's so weak and nerdy. And so if you feel like your snare or clap has an issue but you don't know what it is, here's what I recommend trying. Open up an EQ and boost this area, the lower frequencies of your sound. That's exactly what I did with this snare, and you heard what a huge difference maker this was. Even with this minimal bump, it creates a pretty drastic difference. And this is the frequency area of your snare that provides that presence, that dense feeling. Oftentimes when my snares don't sound good in my beats, this is one major problem area. Now my snare is sounding a lot more strong and thick. At this point, I'd probably become friends with this snare, get him to join my gang, and pick on other nerds now. And by the way, if you want to join my gang and also pick on nerds with me, hit the like button, and if my videos help you out, think about subscribing. It really does help my channel out, and you'll make me a very happy boy. Moving on to the second common problem for snares and claps, let's take a listen to another beat this time. And once again, let's listen to the same beat but without the fix that I made. Here the snare really vanishes into the beat, it just isn't as present, but the problem this time is a bit different. Here it's the high end that's causing the problem. This is yet another common issue for a lot of claps and snares. A lack of high end can really hurt your snare or your clap's ability to really cut through in your beat. So if you find that your snare or your clap isn't sounding good, it might be because it's getting drowned out in your beat. So here what you want to do is grab an EQ and boost the higher end of your snare or your clap. You can hear how much my snare is able to cut through more and more as I make this boost. So if you're making a beat and something doesn't feel right, take this troubleshooting approach. Boost these two areas one by one and see if that helps. In my experience, these two frequency areas are really important to get your claps and your snares to sound present. So I would try these first. Now, one thing that I do want to point out, a way to help guide your decision is to think about what your beat actually needs. With the first beat that I showed you, it's a pretty minimal beat and the sounds in it are pretty ethereal and spacey. Overall, we don't have many sounds in here that feel like they're very present. So boosting up that body and creating that presence makes sense. It's what my beat needs in this situation. And if you listen to the second beat that I showed you, this beat overall has a lack of presence in the high end. With this beat, it's not like I have super bright piercing hi-hats, so using my snare to fill up a bit more of that high-end space is going to be helpful in this situation. But let's say this beat was balanced a bit differently and there were other high-end sounds that were more present in this beat. So here what I'll do is boost some of those higher end sounds that I have, and what I'll also do is get rid of that boost that I did to the high end of my snare. Now let's listen to this beat. This version of the beat sounds fine. I don't need my snare to take up that high-end space as much since my other sounds are doing this now. So once again, these fixes are going to be super helpful if you feel like your snares or your claps are just not sounding good. But don't just use these fixes every single time you add a snare or a clap into your beat just for the sake of it. Use this only when you feel there's an actual problem to begin with. And just as a quick bonus tip here, if you want to create a boost to your high end, another very viable solution is to add distortion instead. Instead of just boosting frequencies that are already there with an EQ, distortion helps you add new frequencies instead. One of my favorite tools to do this is Camel Crusher. I did a full tutorial on how to use this thing in case you're interested. Next, let's talk about kicks. Once again, there are two very common problem areas with kicks as well. The first common problem has to do with the low end. This can be a problem area because if I had to guess, you probably have tons of kicks on your computer that you've downloaded from all over the place. But some of these kicks might not be a good fit for beat making. Typically, when it comes to making beats, the type of kick that you often want to use are ones that have most of their presence in this range. I'm a bit hesitant to give actual numbers since it can differ depending on the beat, but between 80 to 140 Hz is a good starting point. This is considered the more thumpy, punchy area of your kick. But there are probably a lot of kicks in your library that have a presence that's a bit lower in this area down here. Looking at an EQ, it might seem like these two areas are pretty close to each other, but it can make a world of difference where your kick is. A caveat here, I don't want to sit here and say that you should never use these types of subby kicks. Feel free to do what you want to do. But if you're making a beat with a huge present bass like many beats have, that subby area down there will be filled with bass. At that point, your kick and your bass will be sitting in a very similar space, which is why you probably have a hard time getting your kicks to actually sound good. I think a great example to show this idea is with 808s. With many 808s, they have a pseudo kick attached to the very beginning of them. That's what many people mean when they say they want an 808 that hits hard. Let me show you what I mean. With this 808, you'll notice that it has a very strong thump right at the beginning. Whereas other 808s don't have this same type of hard-hitting thump at the beginning. That thump that's in the beginning of your 808, it basically acts as a kick. This is something that I talked about way back in an 808 video of mine. By the way, if you have trouble with your 808s, I recommend checking that video out. All the videos that I talked about during this one are all linked in the description box below. So if we were to go into the actual kick itself and we just isolated the very beginning of it, and we open up an EQ, you can see that peak right here is in that thumpy area. Right here, it's at 90 Hz. But if you go back into the 808 and we look at everything else outside of that initial thump, and we go back into our EQ here, you can see this sits in that sub-ear region down here. So when it comes to kick selection and getting your kick to actually cut through and not get drowned out by your bass, choose a kick that has its presence that's a bit higher up. That will help you with this problem. And if you need to, boost that thumpier area with an EQ. That can help you out even more. That's exactly what I did with this beat, for example. Again, if I didn't create this boost, take a listen to this kick now. The kick basically vanished into the beat. So if your kick isn't cutting through in your beat like you want, this might be the problem that you need to fix. But again, there is another very common problem area when it comes to kicks. Let's take a listen to another beat this time. Here we have this spooky sounding beat, but take a listen to how this beat sounds if I used another kick instead. Our beat here doesn't sound quite as full, so even though your kick might have a good presence in that lower area, another very common problem area that people often overlook and underestimate is how colorful their kick is. The higher frequencies are still important. Kicks aren't just about the low end. Now, once again, context does matter here. Since my beat does have a hi-hat pattern that often hits at the exact same time as my kick does, the lack of high-end presence on this kick isn't as big of a problem. But let's say this beat didn't have hi-hats. Let's take a listen to these two kicks now. The difference becomes much more apparent and our beat starts to feel a lot more incomplete since we don't have the high-end presence in that first kick. In this situation, using a more colorful kick that has more presence in the higher frequency areas could have been very helpful in our beat to make it sound more complete. Just like our snare in our clap examples, context does matter. Think about what your beat actually needs and adjust your drums accordingly. As you can see, merely just using an EQ and boosting different frequency zones can be the actual fix for your kicks and your snares, so you don't have to spend hours looking for the right sound. Most of the time, it's just a lack of presence in certain areas, and that's it. So hopefully this video has been helpful. If it has, please like and subscribe. Head over to betterbeatmaker.com if you want to check out my full online beatmaking course. The link to my free drum kits in the description box below, as well as a link to my producer community if you want to join up, and I will see you guys next time.